Recently, a friend of mine created a neat evolution simulator. This inspired me to try and create one of my own. I've never really coded a simulation before, but to a certain extent, a simulation is really just a video game with no player input. I have decided on a whim to create a Boid flocking simulation, and have two flocks of Boids fight each other to the death. If you don't know what a Boid is, I highly recommend you watch Sebastian video on the subject, and all of his other videos twice. Link in the description. Otherwise, I'm going to assume you know what a Boid is. Now, I decided that this would also be an evolution simulator, of course, so here's how that part works. Every round, each team's Boid which dealt the most damage would pass down its genes to its team's next flock. Traits marked "can evolve" are then mutated. This means that the trait is modified by a random number between -1% and 1% of the maximum value that trait can have. For example, the alignment value can change by a maximum of 1 point per mutation because its maximum is 100. In theory, this means that traits which cause a particular Boid to deal more damage will become enhanced over many generations. Other traits will likely not change much at all. But how do the Boids deal damage? Well, here's a graphic. Every Boid has a cone of vision and a vision range. When an enemy Boid enters that cone and is in range, it will lose 1 hit point every frame it stays in range. This means that if a Boid is looking away from an enemy but in range, it will almost always lose the fight. If both are looking at one another, they will usually kill each other. With just the basic Boid rules, plus the additional rule that Boids will steer towards nearby enemies and attack them, battles can end up in many different states. Sometimes the flocks crash directly into one another. Sometimes they end up in a stable orbit, resulting in a stalemate. At higher speed values, they are all over the place. And with low cohesion and alignment, the Boids fan out across the screen. One of the more interesting cases, at high cohesion and alignment but also strong separation, the Boids end up in a very jittery formation. And now for an all-new segment, Wacky Coding Challenges. In the original simulation, there was a gigantic problem with the combat. Despite having the exact same statistics, Team 0 was beating Team 1 more than 90% of the time. What in the world? It turns out, this is what appears to have been happening. When a script is instantiated, it is added to an update order. Every frame, scripts are updated one after the other in that order. Older scripts are updated first, younger scripts are updated later. Why was that causing a problem? Well, every Boid was moving and attacking in its own update function. This meant that in a fight, older Boids always attacked first. That in turn meant that the older Boid almost always won. Finally, when starting a new round, the spawning system created Team 0 and then Team 1. Since Team 0 was always older by a fraction of a second, Team 1 almost always lost. To solve this, I moved the updating to a game controller script. Now, every frame, the master script updates all the Boids in pairs made of a Team 0 Boid and a Team 1 Boid. This pair flips a coin to see who goes first. While it may not have been the perfect solution, this finally made the battles fair, and therefore more interesting to watch. Anyway, that's about all for this video. If you want to try the simulator for yourself, feel free to check out the itch.io page linked in the description. Otherwise, keep coding and have a great day.